I'm going to give you a crash course on free motion quilting. Pretty much how to set up the machine for the settings that you need, which feet, and so forth. So first off, let's go ahead and lower the feed dogs or the feed teeth. Slide this lever from left to right, so those lower down. Next, we're going to go ahead and use the foot that comes with the machine, and that's your R foot. The R foot is kind of a floating foot. And when we go into the set menu, we do have to tell the machine that we are doing free motion quilting. Otherwise, what happens? When you go to sew, that foot comes straight onto the fabric and hooks it, smooshes it. So we need to come all the way down to where it says free motion floating and put an OK in that box. So that means that the machine will not go all the way down when it goes to stitch. It shows us that we do need to lower the feed dogs as well. And we are going to also show you the optional open toe spring action foot. And that was the other option in the set menu. So I'm going to show you that. Another great accessory that I would recommend is a straight stitch throat plate. So as you're going down, the needle only has one hole to come up and into. That way, that big opening for all your decorative stitches, because your fabric's moving left and right and up and down, and you got this gigantic quilt that you're going through, this keeps everything stabilized and even a little bit better tension option. Now, I've gone ahead and put in some variegated thread in the needle and a solid color in the bobbin. So when we talk tension, you can see what I'm going for and how to adjust it. And then we'll switch over to the spring action foot and show you that as well. Okay, so sometimes too, I do like to adjust my speed just a little bit. I'm going to reduce it down. Then that way I can kind of get good at the speed that I'm stitching and the speed that I'm moving my hands at. All right, I'm going to just stop here. Set the needle to stop in the down position. So that way it holds your stitch. Also, another thing that's going to be really helpful is if your machine is down in a cabinet, that's ideal number one. Or get one of the slide-on tables that Husqvarna Viking sells. Those are wonderful. It really helps you have some place to put your hands and it supports the quilt. You can also buy one of those like big Sew Steady tables. They are much bigger and acrylic, and then that gives you a much bigger work surface also. Okay, so for today, we're just going to go ahead, do some stitching. And as I'm going to need to hold on to this. Gloves are also my friend. That's also what I like to do. All right, so we're just going to do a little stitching. I'm just trying to get my hands to move at the speed that the needle is going up and down at. I'm going to cut the thread. We're going to do a little tension check here. So on the front, we look pretty good, not bad. But on the back, what do we have? Actually, not too bad. So what we're looking for is that on the back side, we see maybe just a little bit of the top thread coming down. So like right here where I've got blue in the variegated, I see just a hair of blue, not too much, not too little. But if I did see more thread than I thought I would, then I would usually with free motion quilting, you need to go to the set menu and actually adjust the tension tighter. That is usually the issue. Now, unless you have something really different in weights of thread from needle to bobbin, then it might have to go the other way. But traditionally, we go a little tighter. Remember, when we change thread tension, it's not just one touch, because that only takes us 0.2 of a change. Remember, I would go up a whole number. So if it's at 4.6 to start, I'm going up to 5.6 just to see if any change, if that makes a better look to the stitch. Of course, when you use good quality thread in your needle and bobbin, you have a really good result. Also, too, if you use the same thread, well, usually things are going to look fairly good. Now, as you're noticing, the foot just kind of hovers. It's not really supporting the fabric. It pretty much just protects your fingers from getting into that needle area. The foot is not doing anything to help kind of resist some of the flagging that's going on as you are free motion quilting. And that's what the spring action foot will do. Plus, it also is open, which I do like. Now, to put this other foot on, you do need a screwdriver because you are going to take the whole entire ankle off. Leave the foot attached to it. That way you don't lose the ankle. That's always my tip here. Now, to put this on, you're just going to kind of slide the little post here down the part of the foot. So you're going to have to kind of get that underneath it and then up. And there's also a little piece that's above the screw that takes your needle in and out. All right, attach. Make sure that you do not just tighten the the screw by fingers, but give that last little turn with the screwdriver because things are going to wiggle loose here. Okay, we have to go back into our set menu. We will switch it from the free motion floating, so uncheck that, touch OK, and down to the free motion spring action and check OK. Go out of the set menu. All right, so now we're ready to stitch, and what you're going to notice is now the foot is going to actually kind of hop across your fabric. This is going to give you a little bit more superb looking stitch. You won't get so many skip stitches or oddities in the way the stitches form. It's also a little bit easier for me to see. I'm going to take the speed up just a little bit. I feel like I'm going a little slow for my particular style. There we go. Now what we are going to do, I am seeing a little bit of the maroon colored thread coming up to the top this time. So with this particular combination, I'm seeing thread up here, and I don't see any of the color down below. So now I'm going the other way, but that's the difference between 2 feet. It is not going to be the same for both the feet. All right, so going all the way back up to the top, thread tension, too tight, it's pulling it up to the top. So now I'm going to go back down to 3.6. Was at 4.6. Let's just see how a whole number change is going to look with this. Right now I'm seeing no bobbin thread, just a hair from time to time. So let me stop and I'll reduce that down maybe another half of a tension number. Because really what you want is the best look on the top. I think I have dialed it in. Let's see how it looks on the back side. So as I was stitching, we are finding that the stitches were still just a little bit, I could see a little bit of the maroon thread. Here we're looking much better, just a hair of the color now down below, which is really what you're after. Now, so try out your foot that comes with the machine, and then just know that there are 2 other accessories, the straight stitch throat plate and the other spring action machine quilting foot that you can purchase from your Husqvarna Viking store. That would probably be the better choice for lots of free motion quilting. So have fun with this. Remember, you have to practice, practice, practice to get your stitches to really look good and even. Use your speed control to kind of adjust your speed as you start to get started. And I promise, the more you practice, the better you'll get.